Greenland, the world's largest island. A former Danish colony, torn between tradition and modernity, between its own separate identity and dependence on Denmark. And now, the US president is laying claim to Greenland.
Denmark made us into a colony, and since then we've just been following along. We need independence, but we don't need Donald Trump.
No Trump. Only Greenlanders.
The US president says Greenland is key to national security, but the island also has great mineral wealth.
As the ice sheets are receding, there's more minerals being uncovered, so it's becoming a very attractive location.
But what many Greenlanders want is independence.
To be honest, right now we're under Danish rule and not an independent country.
In summer, Greenland is transformed as parts of the Arctic Ocean melt. Nukannguaq Zeeb was born here. A member of the majority Greenlandic Inuit population, his ancestors adapted to life on the edge of the Arctic. When the ice and snow disappear from the southern coast during the summer, motorboats replace sleds for fishing. Today he's joined by his nephew, Aqualu.
There are no fishing limits for cod. You can catch as many as you want. Once you've caught enough, it's up to you how many more you choose to pull out of the water. But no one fishes here just for fun. We only catch what we need to eat or to feed our dogs. There are many ways to fish, but I just go by feeling. I pull on the line and the fish bites.
Fishing and hunting are deeply anchored in the culture, having ensured the survival of Greenlanders for thousands of years in this harsh climate. The Inuit are a people with ancient traditions that have been passed down from one generation to the next. Nukannguaq brings the fresh fish to his brother. The family has 30 sled dogs that need to be fed twice a day. Nukannguaq's niece has known the dogs since they were puppies, but she's no longer allowed to pet them.
They're too big. When they were small, it was okay, but now they're too big.
Many of their neighbors have switched to snowmobiles instead of dogs.
The dogs are out here all the time, whether summer or winter. My brother uses them for all sorts of things. For hunting in the fjords, or for tourists who want to go dog sledding. He also competes in races with them. That's very popular here. He only trains his best dogs for that.
The Greenlanders' traditional way of life has changed dramatically. The island became a Danish colony in 1721 and was made a district of the Danish Realm in 1953. Today, it's semi-autonomous, and the Trump administration is laying claim to it. The world's largest island is thought to hold vast mineral deposits. The sparsely populated region has suddenly become a geopolitical flashpoint. Is Greenland sliding from one dependency into another? One thing's certain, few here can make a living from fishing and hunting, and the small number of tourists that visit. Like many Greenlanders, Nukannguaq also went abroad to find work and is now a carpenter in Iceland. He comes back to visit his family for a few weeks each year.
Coffee or tea?
I've prepared something for us.
I can't stay long. I'm a fisher and hunter. But we're really feeling the effects of climate change now. Seals come to the coast much less frequently.
Independence has been a subject of debate here for decades, but with a foreign power suddenly wanting the territory, many here are worried.
We were shocked when we first heard it. Initially, it was difficult to deal with. It's an important topic given Greenland's hopes for future independence. There's a lot of debate on the issue. Some say we're not ready for complete independence. Others are in favor of it. We don't know what's best. But of course, we all hope that Greenland will at some point gain independence.
Greenland's colonial past is evident in the towns. The octagonal Lutheran church on Disco Island is one famous example. Denmark's king sent the first missionary to Greenland in 1721. The goal was to convert the people to Christianity and keep Denmark supplied with oil from whale and seal blubber. Nukannguaq is Christian and was confirmed by Pastor Sarah Mathisen. A boat serves as a reminder of the past when the Inuit religion collided with Christianity.
I can't think of anyone who still subscribes to the old beliefs.
The pastor seems fairly relaxed about the U.S. president's plans to take over Greenland.
I see two things. On the one hand, the Danes are paying more attention to us. And on the other, Greenland is becoming better known around the world.
Around 600 kilometers further south, as the crow flies, lies the capital, Nuuk. It's home to around 20,000 people, roughly a third of Greenland's population. Denmark's influence is even more obvious here. Nuuk has prefabricated buildings, schools, and an 8-hour workday. Many Greenlanders feel torn between their traditional roots and modern lifestyles. Amy Pipaluk and her family live in Nuuk. After studying in Denmark, she decided to return to Greenland.
I studied in Odense for 2 years and have now come back to Greenland. I miss being able to go out, eat different dishes in restaurants and cafes and other activities too. There isn't much to do here.
But Amy is also very attached to the culture and traditions of her homeland. At this market, hunters sell meat from reindeer, whales, or seals, depending on the time of year.
Our family hunts and fishes for ourselves. When we don't have the time, we buy from other hunters. But we try to hunt as often as possible to fill our freezer for the rest of the year. Oh yes, I'll take that. And that too.
Yes.
That's 144 Danish kroner.
Polar bear or walrus meat is also on sale at times, but it's strictly regulated. Each animal can only be hunted during specific months. The supermarket in Nuuk looks pretty much like any in Europe. Greenland is not formally part of the EU, but has a customs agreement with Denmark. Most goods are imported from there, which means they're relatively expensive.
It's definitely easier to buy food here, but we try to eat local Greenlandic meat as often as possible, as it contains fewer additives than the meat in stores.
But resisting the wide range of goodies from Denmark isn't easy. Officially, Greenland is home-governed. But many here feel the island is still too dependent on Denmark.
Gaining independence for Greenland is important to me. We were independent before Denmark colonized us, so we could do it again. But we've just allowed ourselves to become reliant. If we can manage things on our own, we can be independent.
Greenland's seat of government and parliament are in the center of Nuuk. Ane has an appointment with a member of parliament. Pelle Broberg's party, Nukannguaq, advocates for greater independence from Denmark, but also openly supports cooperation with the U.S. The capital is small, and almost everyone knows each other. So talking directly to politicians is more commonplace.
For a lot of years, they have been able to threaten us that if you want independence, you will be isolated. Nobody wants to work with you. And all of a sudden, the U.S. president is saying, no, we'll take care of them, we'll play with them. So I was one of the few politicians that said, Mr. President, keep on what you're doing because we will benefit from it. Not because we want to be American, we want to be Greenlandic. This is what we're striving for.
In terms of the economy, going for independence would be ambitious. The most important sector is fishing, but it doesn't generate enough revenue. The Danish government subsidizes Greenland's budget with about €500 million each year. In addition to natural resources, tourism is also gaining in importance. Souvenir shops attract visitors with Greenlandic folklore and mythical creatures carved from reindeer bones.
Every country wants to be independent. It just depends on how possible it is. We're only 56,000 people, so in my opinion, we're not ready. So we need doctors, we need teachers, we need a lot of people to run the country. But of course, I hope someday we will be independent.
Donald Trump's ambitions to take the island are actually boosting sales.
There's a lot of tourists now who talks about, just before Trump take over your country or trying to do that, we would like to see your country. So that's why I come this year instead of another year.
It's a vast area that the U.S. president has set his sights on. Less than 60,000 people live in a region that's 6 times the size of Germany. Greenland is one of the most sparsely populated regions in the world. About 320 kilometers north of Nuuk, 7 hours by boat, is the White Mountain Mine, one of only 2 active mines in Greenland. Many think it's key to the island's independence. Geologists believe there are minerals here like rare earths, lithium, or gold. But exploration and mining in this remote area are still very costly. There's no road network, so everything has to be brought in by boat or helicopter.
This is our fresh food, so fruit and vegetables for the next 7 days.
The crew changes regularly. They work for a cycle of 4 weeks and then have 4 weeks off. Niels Ole is a foreman in the mine. Like many Greenlanders, he commutes between here and Denmark.
Came here yesterday from Copenhagen with a 4.5-hour flight, and then we took a boat from Nuuk to here, which took around 7 hours.
his day starts out with a problem. A machine that crushes rock has broken down. Niels and manager John head off to take a look.
If a machine breaks down, we have to find a solution. We get some spare parts with the ship. It's not always the quickest, so it's just 7 hours away with the boat. Yeah. In the winter, we take a plane to Nukannguaq, and then we fly a helicopter out here.
As manager, John is responsible for production.
Hello, how's it looking?
Put some to what are those names?
A clamp.
Clamps.
Put a clamp in the bottom.
So it doesn't.
It doesn't drop round yet.
So now we're going to take a strop.
They're extracting anorthosite, a mineral that's especially heat resistant and has a wide range of uses. In insulation material, in the manufacture of aluminum and glass fibers, and even in space travel. Niels Ole is one of the few Greenlandic foremen in the team. The island has a shortage of skilled workers, so people are often flown in from abroad. English is the team's working language.
As you can see, he's drilling right now, but there's a few holes he can't really get to, so he have to drill it with a good angle. My responsibility is to make sure things are running and make sure everything goes as planned.
That plan is to extract 300 tons of material per day. The mine has been operating since 2019, but isn't turning a profit. The operating company, Lumina, isn't forthcoming on the exact figures.
Obviously, the condition can be rough. In the winter, it could get up to minus 35. And in the summer, as now, it gets very dusty. But right now, it's perfect. It's the lifestyle. I love it. I go to Greenland where I'm born, and I still go back to Copenhagen where I live. So back and forth, experience both countries. In Copenhagen, there's a lot of options of what you can do. Here in Greenland, I love the nature, the fresh air, and the Greenlandic people.
Since 2009, Greenland has managed its own mineral resources and issued licenses to foreign companies. International investors are helping finance this mine too.
Oh, that was it. Sorry, that's the post-it. All right, okay.
John is from Scotland, where Donald Trump has his own golf course and is currently building a second one.
Perfect. Thank you, guys. It's hard for us to make opinions on what goes on in President Trump's mind. I would say that the minerals are probably the important part. As the ice sheets are receding, there's more minerals being uncovered, so it's becoming a very attractive location.
Before mining starts anywhere, lengthy exploration is required. Drill cores provide rock samples to determine if a site is viable.
And you can see they've got different marks, and that gives the geologist's assessment on what the quality is. The next thing you look at is the chemistry of it. It's very expensive when if we drill in the wrong place, blast the wrong place, or try to put the wrong material through.
The stockpile area looks well supplied. NASA and the European Space Agency are among the mine's customers. After a 12-hour shift, everyone is ready for dinner. The team chef buys whale and seal meat or reindeer steaks from local hunters, but also serves traditional Danish sandwiches or English stew. In this remote area of the Arctic, telephone coverage is poor, but the Wi-Fi works so workers can stay in touch with their families.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom. How are you?
Fine, and you?
Yeah.
What are you up to?
I've just eaten, and now I've come to my room.
I miss my mother, but we are adults now. We gotta earn our own money, and I like doing this work up here in the mine.
Niels' mother also lives in Greenland. Like most here, he'd like greater autonomy for his homeland.
It's a dream for a lot of the Greenlandic people, yeah. It's obviously it's a dream, but let's see in the future. Yeah, it's a long way, I think.
The dependence on Denmark is not easy to resolve. Back to Disco Island. In August, the coasts of southern Greenland are ice-free. It's the high season for the country's most popular sport. Soccer was brought to the island in the 19th century by Danish missionaries and colonial officials. Almost every town has a soccer club and an artificial grass pitch. Nukannguaq Zeeb is an assistant coach for Greenland's national team. He's not happy that the squad can't compete in international tournaments.
The Greenlandic team can't play in World Cups. We're not members of FIFA or UEFA. Of course, we'd like to play international matches with our own team. Soccer is very important in Greenland, but we're not allowed to compete independently. The only way talented soccer players have a chance is if they get accepted into Denmark's national team.
Due to the extreme climate, training is only possible for a few months of the year, so top players are rare. The young soccer team knows that their coach lives in Iceland.
I want to live in Greenland, on Disco Island or in Nuuk. I want to have children, a family of my own. My family comes from here, so I'll probably stay here. Will we be independent in 20 years? To be honest, I don't know. Maybe sometime in the future. It's hard for me to imagine. Of course, I've heard that Trump wants to buy Greenland or take it over somehow. It's interesting. But will he really do it? I don't think so.
Greenland should be independent, both from Denmark and America.
But not all Greenlanders are as optimistic about the future. Back to the capital, Nuuk. Some have been left behind in Greenland's transformation. Amy Pipaluk is a social worker and looks after young people in a residential facility. They're all from difficult family backgrounds. Living here provides a more stable environment.
I like this work. I can help them learn to cope with their lives and encourage them. Before Greenland became a Danish colony, we Inuit did everything ourselves. We took care of ourselves and made our own clothes. And then the Danes took control of everything. They brought with them the possibility to just buy everything. But with that, the Inuit gradually lost their ability to make everything from scratch.
Amy and group leader Kim help the youth here in their search for identity and prospects for the future.
The idea is that, first of all, the young people should have a safe home here. Then, once they move in, we expect them to start vocational training or attend school regularly. We also make sure that they keep up with their school homework.
The young people in the facility are between 16 and 22 years old. In their families, they've witnessed alcoholism, drug addiction, and violence. An estimated 40% of all Greenlanders regularly drink too much alcohol. In many cases, the lack of prospects is passed down from one generation to the next.
My parents were alcoholics. My dad beat me up and threw me out.
I like being here. There's always something to do. You can think about the future and work on yourself. I'm keen to learn. I'd like to be a salesperson, a police officer, or a soldier.
Around 1/3 of all school children in Greenland don't graduate, and for those who do, jobs and training opportunities are in short supply. Greenland has one of the world's highest suicide rates, especially among young people between 15 and 24. Group leader Kim helps where he can.
We play a lot of games, which we really enjoy. We laugh a lot together too. And we go out and do stuff together. It's a lot of fun.
Kim believes the biggest problem that his protégés are struggling with is that a culture has been imposed on them that's not their own.
For centuries, we've been oppressed by the Danish government. We've been completely controlled in matters concerning society, the economy, and our administrative affairs.
Becoming dependent on the United States rather than Denmark is not an option in his view.
When Donald Trump started talking about buying Greenland, we didn't take it seriously at first. We even laughed about it and said, how exactly does he want to buy us? But as we heard more and more about this large, powerful nation wanting to own Greenland, we started to think about it and started to worry.
Many Greenlanders are instead calling for a solution to the social problems, which they see as key to a better future. Tonight, the caregivers and young people are cooking together. They're having pasta with reindeer meat. Kim wants the boys to pitch in and take responsibility. Like in any family, the young people are constantly on their cell phones and social media. But Kim has a different vision.
It needs to become a habit that they learn to escape technology and smartphones. To simply be out in nature and unplug from the digital world for a while.
Living in harmony with nature in an independent country. How Greenland will manage that remains to be seen.